Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and another chat. This is Carrie and I am
Hi.
very excited to get to talk to her and hear her story. So I will let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Carrie. I'm from Wisconsin and I'm 48 years old and I have Turner syndrome. I was diagnosed when I was about 13 or 14 years old. So it seems like a while ago since I'm 48, but I'm 48, but I feel younger than that. So, you're as young as you feel, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah, I've lived here in Wisconsin, kind of outside the Milwaukee area, all my life. So yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool. So now that you mentioned you were diagnosed at 13 or 14, I am very
correct.
curious whether
Yes,
you are classic or mosaic.
I am. I was diagnosed as mosaic.
Okay.
So yes, I have the mosaic form of Turner's. Yes.
So I would love to hear your story about getting diagnosed. What were the warnings that made them look at stuff, and what kind of testing did you go through initially?
Sure. So, well, I had always been shorter. Um, so yeah, my parents always wondered, why I was on the shorter end. I had a lot of ear infections when I was younger. I had tubes in my ears. I had my adenoids and tonsils removed. I think when I was about 5 years old. And my parents always asked the pediatrician, are concerned that she's a little bit shorter, on the shorter end of kids her age. And the pediatrician just kind of blew it off and said, she'll grow, she'll hit a growth spurt. And I never really did. I was always on the shorter end. Um, my mom never knew. I mean, I was born in the 70s, so they didn't know when I was born, kind of like your story, your parents knew. They never knew. I mean, I was born and I was at kind of a normal weight. I don't believe I was premature, but they just always had those concerns about, my ear infections. Why was I a little bit shorter? So my parents had taken myself and my sister to a new pediatrician, and the pediatrician had said, well, why don't we have you see an endocrinologist, a pediatric endocrinologist? So we did that. They took me to Children's Hospital and they had done some tests. Like I said, seems like so long ago, but then I was diagnosed with Turner syndrome. And I mean, I really didn't know a lot about it. I mean, I don't know if you knew, but I do have a slight visual impairment as well.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
I've
that.
kind of that. Yes, I do. I was born with cataracts, which usually when you're older, you develop it. But for me, it's congenital on my mother's side.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, something else, but I was probably in seventh grade when I was so my parents found out there was a reason why I was shorter. And it explained things, the ear infections and things like that. So yeah, I was diagnosed about 13 or 14 years old.
Did they just do a blood test?
I believe so. And it must have been, I just remember being in the hospital the first time, like part of a day, like inpatient kind of thing. And then I remember being in the hospital later on for like maybe 2 or 3 days. And I remember them doing more testing. Like I remember them doing a CT scan to look at my pituitary gland.
Oh,
And I
wow.
remember blood work too. Yeah, I remember like a couple of days I had to be in the hospital. So,
So that
um,
sounds like they
yeah,
tried
so
to do
then
some other tests to kind of rule other stuff out also.
yeah, possibly. Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, it was a while ago, and it's being in the hospital a couple days.
Yeah.
Um, they looked at problems with my pituitary gland. everything. I remember, of course, having the ultrasound of my kidneys too. I remember having the echocardiogram, all those tests to see if I had any heart issues or kidney issues to go along in it, which luckily I don't. Um, and then finally, yeah, and I was obviously they did a karyotype to actually diagnose me. Um, so yeah, they diagnosed me with mosaic Turner syndrome. I remember my parents telling me that it was the mosaic Turner. So yeah, I just remember my parents telling me, and I know I kind of felt like there was something going on because they were on the phone and they said they were talking to the doctor, and like, well, I don't know what it is, but what's going on. And then they told me. Um, and I'm like, oh, okay. And here I am, a teenager, like, okay, I'm not really totally sure what it is, but okay, it's Turner syndrome and I have the mosaic form. And like, you have a mild form of Turner syndrome.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now I'm still learning all the time, but I mean, I have a better understanding than I did then, you
Yeah.
know. So,
Well,
and
and
I did have growth hormone.
oh,
I
you
was
did.
on growth hormone. Yeah, I did. So yeah, and that started probably, I would say when I was 14 years old. They started me on growth hormone, and I was probably on it until maybe 16 or 17. So like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
So I wasn't too thrilled about having shots. Um, I think other people have said that. Nobody really who's had growth hormone likes the shots, but
Yeah. So was it the same? Because I heard from, I
yeah.
think, Lindsay, when I talked with Lindsay, that they had her on growth hormones and they delayed starting her on hormone replacement therapy until after. Was it the same for you?
Yes, they started me later on. And I think I'm correct to this, but they started me like either toward the end of before I stopped shots or right after they stopped it. Because I remember
Okay.
them saying, we're going to put you on the estrogen. That, and I actually, I wasn't eating very well later on in my teenage years. So the doctor actually decided to stop the growth hormone shots then because I wasn't eating like I should. And my parents weren't happy about that. Um, I don't know, it was just something I was going through at that time. So I always wonder if I would have continued on the shots, if I would have gained that, whatever, half an inch or, gain that little bit of height. But I'll never know, but
How tall did you end up being after growth hormones?
like I said, I'm about 5 feet now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being 5 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So
um,
the growth hormones, while you were on it, you said you weren't eating well. Was that just it like took away your appetite?
no, I don't know what it was when I was in high school. It was sort of a form of anorexia. I just kind of stopped eating a little bit. And so I don't know, I just snapped out of it because I remember the doctor told me, you need to start eating better. And then I did. I realized, okay, for my own health, I need to take care of myself. And I did. So luckily, so they stopped the growth hormone shots and started eating better. Like I said, I ended up being 5 feet. Um, so, so yeah. And there are a lot of shorter women. So, I think 5 feet is a pretty good height. I wish I was taller. I have a younger sister who's 5'11".
Oh,
So,
wow.
I always joke, she got the height I don't have. And 7.5 years younger than me. So she called me her little big sister. So, so yeah, I mean, I am pretty lucky. I think some others that you've chatted with have said they have um, too many of the symptoms. Um, I don't have any heart issues. I just had a echocardiogram just like a month ago, and everything they said was normal. Had blood work that was normal. So yeah, I guess I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah,
So
that's good. So far in your life, what would you say has been the biggest way having Turner syndrome has impacted you?
um I don't know about Turner syndrome so much, but because of my vision, I don't drive. So that's been kind of a challenge. I relied on friends and my parents and Uber and Lyft service. Thank goodness for that. But as far as Turner syndrome, there really hasn't been too much. I mean, I have to go and get my stool to stand and reach higher things in the cabinet. So being shorter. um, I guess math has always been my weakest subject. um, in school, I, always, my dad always helped me out with math, with my homework and stuff. And he sometimes would get a little frustrated with me, like, why can't you get it?
Mm.
But otherwise, I haven't had too much as far as Turner's. Except too, when I was younger, I had ear infections, like I had said. And now I really don't have ear trouble too much anymore. I recently had a hearing test, and I do have like a very mild hearing loss, which I was surprised about.
Mm.
Um, and the reason I had that is when I went to the doctor, I had like tinnitus, like some ringing in the
Mhm.
ears. And the doctor said that could be a sign of hearing loss. So I decided to go ahead and get a hearing test. And yeah, she's like, you do have a slight hearing loss, but no reason for hearing aids or anything like that. She said, she just suggested coming back and having another hearing test. So yeah. Um,
Is it mid frequency?
I don't know. She just said it was like a hearing loss to higher pitch
Okay.
sounds. Yeah,
Okay.
it has to do with the pitch, I guess. So yeah, that's as
Okay.
much as I can understand of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
mm,
have moderate mid frequency hearing loss. So I know
oh,
what the kind of mild feels like, but mine,
right.
the frequency it's at can really make a difference for how you experience it because different
Sure.
things are at different frequencies. Um, I would
Sure.
love to hear the story of your ear surgery though. Was it just getting tubes?
Right. Correct. It was the ear tubes, and then I had my tonsils and adenoids removed the same time. So yeah, I had all of those. Um, I had some hearing difficulty too when I was little, and I guess it was like from the ear infections and that like the fluid built up in my ears. And we could be sitting at the table and my parents could be talking to me and I couldn't hear everything they were saying. Like they've been telling me what my Christmas presents were going to be and I couldn't hear them. So so it did take me to an ENT and they had said, like I just said, it's probably like ear issues, like fluid built up problems. So I had the tubes and the adenoids removed, and my hearing was better. So
So,
yeah, so I've had some hearing problems.
what was the recovery like from having tubes?
Um, the recovery. and again, this was when I was 5 years old. I don't remember it being too bad. I think the hearing probably was better pretty quick because of the tubes. It kind of drained things. I remember eating a lot of like soft things, like getting some ice cream and softer foods for a while. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was probably like maybe week or 2 week recovery. I know that as an adult, if you have your tonsils removed, it's like more of a longer recovery time, I think I've heard. I don't know, it's worse when you're an adult, but um I don't remember it being too bad. Like I said, just a lot of soft foods and a lot of rest. And my mom said that my voice sounded a little different for a while.
Mm.
I don't know, so she was a little worried about that. Like, is her voice gonna come back normal? But obviously it did.
That's good.
So yeah, and I really don't have any, I haven't had really any more ear infections in quite a while. I get a lot of wax buildup in the ears, and I always know that I need to have my ears cleaned out because, I can just tell my hearing gets a little, I don't know why, but it just, it's how my body works, I guess. You know,
Yeah,
I need to get,
yeah. I know because I experienced a lot of ear infections too. I didn't ever get to the point where they pushed for me to get tubes or anything, but
oh,
I for sure attribute a lot of my hearing loss to how many ear infections I had when I was little because I never had to have surgery, but that pink bottle was like a staple in our fridge when I was little. It was
oh
just,
yeah, yeah.
it felt like there was always a bottle of that in our fridge because of how often I got them. So,
Yeah, well, I remember that pink bottle, that pink medicine.
mhm.
Yep, I do remember that.
So do
Wasn't that
you,
amoxicillin or something like that?
yeah, yeah, it was I guess it was amoxicillin. I never remembered the name of the antibiotic that was in it. I just knew that's what it was.
I remember it being pink. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I
And
remember that.
I never loved the taste of it, but it wasn't as horrible
Yeah.
as like I at that age I wasn't awful at taking pills,
Mm,
but it wasn't fun still. So I still preferred that, but the taste was kind of like ugh.
right,
But
right,
so as an adult
right.
now, how how does your routine for going to see doctors look? Is it just like every 6 to 12 months you see your endocrinologist, or do you do everything through just a normal physician?
Well, the thing is with my insurance, I am on, the Obamacare, the marketplace, right now. So it kind of depends, on what insurance I have through them. Like like the last provider I had, I could only see certain, medical professionals. Now I'm only able to see like Aurora doctors. So I do keep up with my health care, but um, it depends on my health insurance that I have, what doctors I can see. So I just recently had to get a primary care physician because of the insurance I'm so I have just seen a new primary care doctor and I had seen an endocrinologist like I want to say a year ago. Yeah, probably a year ago, like year or two, 2008, I think. And now I saw that doctor, but now the medical group he's with is not under my insurance. So if I saw him, my insurance wouldn't pay.
Yeah.
So I can't see that endocrinologist anymore. So he had written orders for me to have, a bone density scan, the um, you know, the echocardiogram. And I waited a little while, I didn't have it done. So when I went to see this new primary care physician, I'm like, I really should have this done. I should have this done. So it was the primary care doctor that, wrote the referral for me to, or the order for me to have. I keep up with, medical things and that. I don't see an endocrinologist probably as much as I should. I probably had seen one last like in 2008. And then the last one I saw was, I think I said 2018.
Okay.
So I waited like 10 years to see. Yeah. So yeah. But at least I'm keeping up with things, keeping up with my health. So,
Yeah.
so
So
yeah,
how has,
that's
because I have benefits through Andrew's work. So
right, right.
I have not had to play that game of dealing with getting healthcare insurance outside of having it
Mhm.
applied as benefits. How have you found
Sure.
that experience to be with having things that, like you said, you need all of these screenings to make sure you're on top of stuff. So it's not like you can be without it.
Right,
What has that experience been like, trying to
right,
make sure what you need is covered?
right. So that's tough. Like I said, I'm single. So I'm on my own. Like I said, I'm through my employer. I don't get insurance through where I work right now. So as I said before, I'm on the Obamacare, the marketplace health insurance. And like I said before, I have to go with what healthcare providers are under that insurance that I'm under coverage with. So what I do is I just try to make sure that with the healthcare that I receive, that the doctors I see are under that healthcare that I currently have, the providers. So, and even when I had the hearing test recently, and that I asked him, I'm like, will this be covered under the current insurance that I have? I was really worried. Oh my gosh, how much am I going to have to pay for this? Because, like I said, I'm single and I don't make a ton of money, so
Yeah.
um, I am a licensed teacher, but right now it's a long story. I'm kind of working for before school program at a school, and I'm also working with um, 4K students, 4 year
Okay.
olds. So it's a lot of fun. I miss them because I haven't seen them in a few weeks. But
Yeah.
yeah, but once again, long story short, the where I work, the school, they don't offer health insurance for my position. I'm considered kind of part-time. Um, so yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's kind of tough for me being single with um trying to make sure I have the health care that I need, yet being able to pay for it.
Yeah.
I also just recently had surgery. I had surgery on my vocal cords. I had a vocal cord nodule, which I had the same surgery like a year ago and it came back.
Oh,
So I had to
wow.
have the same surgery again. And yeah, I was like, oh, they said it's very dangerous. Like, I work with kids, I don't yell, but I talk a lot. But so I had that to deal with. So yeah, the bill was coming in for that too. It's like, and now here we are with um, everything that's going on, and I haven't been able to work really. So doing
Yeah.
what I can.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm in the same boat as
I I have even in just navigating benefits from a job, because before I was on Andrews, I was on my dad's. I've been very lucky when it's come to health insurance.
okay,
I I've not ever had a gap where
sure.
I had to get it myself. I was honestly very afraid of having to.
Uh-huh.
Um, did you
Right.
see an improvement in being able to get what you needed or have it be affordable when the whole system changed, or did it become harder? Because I know they were putting in the pre-existing condition clause, and that was supposed to be helpful,
Right.
but all of the other details seemed kind
Sure,
of
sure.
to just make it really complicated.
Right. So, like I said, with being able to be on the Obamacare, it's worked out for me okay right now. Um, I do have, um, luckily now a health insurance or an insurance agent that helps me kind of pick the best plans. So thank goodness for him,
Oh, that's good.
because yeah. So, we kind of get on the phone and we chat, we go through and actually get on the computer and go to the healthcare.gov site and, look at the best plan that's affordable to me. So I feel like with somebody like that helping me, it's been a lot easier. Um, you know, with a plan that's affordable for like this, know, pretty good price a month. So it's like two different costs for my health insurance, and then I have dental too. So, but they're both really not too bad, to be honest. So yeah, but I'm really thankful that I have someone like that that's kind of sat down with me and helped me pick the most affordable plan for me and how much, my ages and everything. So, and he also gives me
That's
advice a lot of
that's
times.
good. So when you first started
So
working with him,
yeah,
did
that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
he start out kind of asking you what you needed, and did you have to explain Turner syndrome to him?
No, actually Turner syndrome never really came up. It
Okay.
mainly was just talking about, yeah, it mainly, and I see what you mean. It could have because of my, the medical doctors that I need to see. I was just looking at kind of the best, affordable plan for me. I think he was looking at the costs and everything too that I would pay per month. Um, and the insurance that I have, the doctors that I can see are pretty close to me in my area right now. There's a clinic that's not too far away. So right now, all the doctors that I'm seeing are pretty much in that clinic. Now, for my surgery, I had to go a little bit further out of my town to go see him, but that was fine. I mean, most of them are the doctors I see are here anyway. So it works out pretty well. So, the biggest thing is just, I want people to know, that there are people out there who need and use the marketplace. Like me, I'm single. I'm, I have medical needs like this with Turner syndrome. So I need good health insurance. Yet, I'm not provided it through my employer.
Mhm.
And yeah, yet I still want to keep up to date on everything with myself, medically, and have things like, um, blood work done and echocardiograms and things like that. Having Turner syndrome, that I really am recommended to have, you
Yeah,
know, good health care is important for sure.
absolutely. And especially
Yeah.
being able to have access to all of the screenings and everything, like you had to make sure that your
Mhm.
doctor knew that you needed, a bone density scan and an echo, and so you could
Right.
keep on top of all of that.
Exactly. And thank goodness, all those things came back normal. Like
Mhm.
the bone density scan for me was normal. The echocardiogram was normal, and I don't really have too many, medical issues right now. other than having had the surgery in December. It's just, I'm pretty lucky that way. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's tough being single and getting good health insurance. It's
That's
kind of,
good that you've been able to find that through the system and you've, found somebody good to help you.
mhm. Yeah, I really appreciate it that he's available. And I got an email from him like in November. Okay, we need to set up a date and time to set up for your insurance, for a date to chat. So
Good.
so yeah, it's good to have someone. And um I actually got the name of this person from a friend of mine. Um and I was going to tell you this too. I do have a close friend who I met who also has Turner syndrome.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, I actually got his name from her. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So is this a friend that's in your area that you see?
Yes, I'm lucky enough that she lives maybe about 12 minutes away from me.
Oh,
Not far at
wow.
all. Yeah, so it was kind of funny how we met. We met through a Christian singles group, and she invited us, some of us, to come to her home. And we were just sitting there talking, and she's like, "Well, I have this thing, it's called Turner syndrome." I'm like, "Oh, me too." So, and we've been friends ever since. We've been real good friends.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and yeah, so um, I've met like probably, I have another friend that I met um, at summer camp when I went to camp. There's another girl that I met. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but she also has Turner syndrome.
Oh, wow.
Um, and what, yeah, one thing I was really surprised about is she was able to become pregnant. So
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
okay, how did that happen? Yeah, yeah.
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 Wow.
excuse excuse my phone. It's like all of a sudden you don't get any calls, and all of a sudden I'm getting calls.
Oh, that's
But
okay. That's awesome. So have you found it really helpful to have them to talk to and have somebody that kind of understands?
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really to actually, to have people you meet like through YouTube and see channels and that, and hear from women and girls that have TS. It's really different to actually meet someone and have a friend, who has Turner syndrome, because you actually can talk about it and they understand. They really understand. So I mean, I'm also part of a Turner syndrome Facebook group too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so um there's just something about, pretty cool about actually having a friend and knowing someone who, you know, really, like I said, really understands. And maybe you can talk to about some of the same things, and both your stories and your experiences. Um, like we've both had growth hormone shots, so we can both talk about, hey, yeah, I remember getting those. Yeah, I didn't like it either. but
Yeah. I feel like
but
it's such a more personal one-on-one connection versus watching somebody's video online.
right, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's totally different when you actually know someone in person, and especially when that person's become a friend too. Um, so yeah, it's pretty cool to actually know someone.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's very
it
cool.
really
I've
is.
only met one person that had it ever. And
Oh,
it was actually a family friend who she was a caregiver for my grandma, and she was talking about
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, she was talking about her daughter with my mom, and she's saying all these different things. And then my mom met her daughter one time, and she goes,
Mhm.
gosh, she's got to have it. So she kept talking to her, and then my mom just decided to kind of check, and she goes, does your daughter have Turner
Yeah.
syndrome? And the woman goes, yeah, how did you
Mhm.
know what that is? And my mom said, Brooke has it. My daughter has it. And the lady was like blown away and goes, what? No way. And so I got to meet her daughter a couple of times. That was really cool to be able to meet somebody else that had it actually in person.
Yeah, right. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is really something about it, actually meeting somebody else who has it, they can relate. Um, yeah, it really was cool meeting my friend that time, and I just was like, whoa, when she first told me that she also has TS, I'm like, what? Because, I haven't met very many people or,
Yeah.
that have it. It's like, and that's why it's so great that you have your channel, Brooke, because, like people have said, it's good to bring out that awareness, because I don't think a lot of people know about Turner syndrome.
Yeah.
It's good to make more people aware of it. And, more people say, oh, okay, I've heard of that. Or I know someone who has it.
Yeah. Especially when I started, because I started posting my videos way before I started talking about it on like Facebook, where I
Right.
had closer friends and family. And
Mhm.
the shift of just posting videos to also posting more on that, it was incredible to see all of my friends and family kind of come out and really be interested in understanding more, just because they cared to hear my experience. And
Right.
that's why I encourage everybody to share, because
Right.
it's really powerful.
Right. It really is. It really is. And that's why, like I said, it's great to have that you started your YouTube channel. And, that's how I found your channels. I started looking, you know, on YouTube, what is there about Turner syndrome? And then all of a sudden I saw other channels like about the Turner Syndrome Society, and I saw your channel and like, oh wow, there's more out there than I thought. I mean, I was diagnosed in the 80s, and back then there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't a lot, all those things out there, you know. Um, yeah, so today there's a lot, I think there's a lot more, some more information out there for women maybe who know that they're pregnant and have a baby inside them that has TS, or a child that was recently diagnosed. Maybe there's more information out there. And, it's not like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Yeah.
There's more in, it's not as, I want to say unknown or scary at first when you hear the diagnosis. Yeah. So keep that information coming
Yeah.
so more people
Yeah.
can learn.
I've really found out how much the stories getting out there is needed, just through, even in the very beginning of starting to talk about it, because
Right.
it seemed like everybody else like me was finding that there wasn't enough out there. And
Right.
as rare as it feels to have it, once you start like talking to people,
Mhm.
it's almost like the 6 degrees of separation thing. Somebody knows somebody else who knows somebody that has it if
Mhm.
they don't.
Right. exactly. And I think about it like a lot of TS babies don't make it, like miscarriages. So I feel like I guess, one of the lucky ones, that we're lucky. You know, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, there's a reason why we're here.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, definitely,
So
definitely.
so I'm curious, how do you explain Turners to somebody that doesn't know? Like when you meet somebody, if you get in this situation where you're talking about something and Turners comes up, do you have like a little phrase or explanation that you say to help them understand?
I really don't, I really haven't had a chance to tell people a lot. And I mean, I really think I should tell people more, to get the word out. But when I have told people, I guess I remember telling a really, really good friend of mine, and this is when, I was a little bit younger, and I just explained it. Okay, oh, I have that's called Turner syndrome, because, I want to explain it the way it's understandable, especially to someone who hasn't heard of it. Um, I just explain it like it has to do with, how girls have an XX chromosome and guys have an XY chromosome. Um, for me and others, we have like part of or all of our X chromosome. One of them is missing, and it happens mainly in women, So, I just kind of, I don't really have like a little rehearsed thing that I say. I just kind of explain it the best as I know how. And, you know, if it comes up, I guess I just kind of share it with someone when I feel comfortable with it. Like, um, like I remember I told a neighbor of mine and I explained it, you know, I have this and what it is. Um, and there's another friend of mine, a coworker, and I've thought about telling her and I'm thinking, um, you know, I want to tell her. I just want to have a good time to tell her, to explain it.
Yeah.
you know, if that makes sense. It's like I don't have the opportunity for it to come up a lot because people don't ask me about it. Like, why are you short? Why, but if I get to know someone and I feel comfortable and I have the opportunity to share that, then I will, you know? So I guess, yeah, I just tell them when it's a good time and when I feel comfortable.
I have been asking everybody what the phrase that was the motto for the Turner Syndrome Awareness Month this year, be uniquely you, means to them. What would you say that means to you or that brings up for you?
I would say, in my words, just it makes me think of just being yourself and being comfortable with who you are. And, you know, even if, you have something different with you, it's okay. We're all different and we all should feel good about who we are. And we should be, it all goes with self-confidence. We should just, like we were saying, be okay with making people more aware of Turner syndrome. And it's something that we have, those of us, girls or women with Turner syndrome, but it's a little part of us that make us a little bit different from other women, but we're unique. And we're still, we're unique. We're special. God made everybody special. And we should all feel good about who we are. and have self-confidence. You know, we're all nobody's the same. We're all different in our own way. We all have our own talents to share. And that's what I feel like being uniquely you means. Just being your best self, being you, not try to be like anybody else, just being the best you that you can be.
I love that. I think this
Definitely.
particular phrase is a really good one for this year because I feel like there's been so much coming up that everybody kind of needs that reminder.
I know some others have said this too, and it would be really cool to go to a conference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've never been to one, and and it would be so cool to get to one.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
like flying that much, so probably, but yeah, it would be really cool to just go sometime. You
Yeah. I I would love to
know,
go to one. I don't enjoy flying a ton either, personally, but
yeah.
it'd be worth it.
Yes, it would. It would. Yeah. I just have to knock me out or something until I got there. Right now.
You can just sleep the whole way and wake up and you're there.
Um, I also wanted to say congratulations on you and Andrew becoming licensed foster parent. That is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. We're really excited. Hopefully things happen soon, but we'll see. Was there anything else you wanted to say or point out to anybody? Is there any advice you would give somebody that's just finding out they have Turner syndrome?
Um, I would just say there is a lot out there right now to um, find out more, and just make sure that you connect with others who have Turner syndrome, or parents of girls who have Turner syndrome, and just be sure to connect with other people because, you know, this having a friend who also has Turner's, and, you know, doing this, being on YouTube like this, finding your channel and everything. And I really, you know, those of us who have Turner syndrome, we, I mean, I feel like it hasn't stopped me from anything, from doing the things that I want to do. I have a master's degree. I'm a teacher. I'm a licensed foster parent. I'm hoping to adopt still someday.
That's
Hope,
so cool.
yeah, hopefully not far off. I'm kind of in the waiting game now for another placement, but we'll see what happens there.
Well, I will be praying for that for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And just, you know, like I just said, connecting, doing a lot of connecting with other people who have Turner syndrome so that you can learn more about, you know, advice they have, or because that's the best thing, connecting with other girls or women who have Turner syndrome, and just feel good about who you are, stay confident.
Yes, I love that. And I love giving that advice to start with because community can be huge as you're navigating all of it.
Right,
So having
definitely.
having that community in the beginning could make so much difference in somebody's experience trying to navigate everything.
Right. And keep up with your health care, you know, with everything.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Yes.
Def-
Okay, well, thank you
yeah,
so much for talking with me.
definitely. Definitely. I'm so happy I got to talk to you. It was great chatting with you, Brooke.
Yes,
And thank you for everything you do with your channel. And it's awesome. It's awesome you're doing everything you're doing. So it's really great. I'm really glad I got to talk to you, and everybody stay safe and healthy through all this.
yes, yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you
And we're
so
all
much.
hanging in there.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It was so fun getting to chat with you and hear your story.
Yes, thank you so much, Brooke. It was
Thank
great.
you. Yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, you too. All right, bye.
Bye bye.